Hi Sag, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Nina and today we are doing your love predictions for this Venus in Taurus transit. This is going to apply to Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Keep in mind that this is a general reading, so it might not apply to everyone, and that is okay. Take what resonates with you and leave the rest that doesn't. Also, this reading doesn't pertain only to romantic love. It can be any form of love, any form of interpersonal relationship that you find yourself involved in that potentially could relate to this reading. So keep that in mind. Yeah, so I guess let's just go ahead and get into it. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, your family, loved ones. Comment down below what you think. I'd love to hear your feedback. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification to know when I upload my videos. And if you want to book a personal reading with me, you can do so at sinfulpluto.com. If you want to find me on social media, you can do so on Twitter and Instagram at Sinfulpluto. And that being said, I think we can go ahead and get started. So, all right, Sagittarius, what's going on for you? What's going on for Sagittarius in love? I'll be linking the deck that I'm using down below if you're interested in checking it out. What's going on for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus in love? What's going on for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus in love? Okay. So we have the Seven of Cups that fell out for you, Sag. Okay, so there might be some sort of confusion, feeling a little bit overwhelmed by the options that are presented to you. We have the Two of Swords reversed, which is kind of like denial, not wanting to face the reality of a situation, trying to ignore it, trying to feign innocence. We have the Ten of Wands, you feeling burdened by this choice. We have the Nine of Cups, Empress reversed, could be dealing with a Taurus or a Libra. And then we have the Sun reversed, Leo energy. And then we have at the bottom of the deck, Page of Swords reversed. So the overall energy for this reading seems to be surrounded or seems to be relating to kind of saying one thing and then doing another, or saying one thing but meaning something completely different. Page of Swords reversed can be someone who, it's almost like you say that you like someone, or you say that you're interested in someone, or you make plans with someone but you never really follow through. You never really you don't mean what you say in a way, or you just don't follow through with the plans, whatever it is, right? It's just like you're here but then you're not. It's almost like you're being flaky, being a little bit flighty, Sagittarius, you know, kind of like avoiding any sort of commitment, avoiding making any sort of choice, trying to like sidestep making any sort of choice. But in doing that, it's possible that you might be creating a little bit of a ruckus, I guess you could say, within your friendships or your general interpersonal relationships, right? With this Page of Swords reversed, being flaky, just not being all that forthright, not being super honest, kind of having or trying to have one foot in the door, like one foot in, one foot out sort of thing. It's almost like you want to have the best of both worlds. You want to be able to enjoy different experiences without fully committing yourself to anyone or to anything, which can work to your detriment at some times. And so it seems as though with the Nine of Cups, it's like you want things to be easy. You want things to be easy. You want things to be instantly gratifying, you know, almost like you don't really want to put in too much work. You know, if it's not something that is super pleasurable, then you don't really care to put much work into it, if that kind of makes sense. That's kind of what it seems here. And with the Seven of Cups, again, maybe you are having to make a choice, or you are faced with a choice of who you want to commit to, or make a choice as to who you want to side with, or who you want to spend more time with, or whatever the case is, right? Seven of Cups is like you have a lot of options in front of you. You have a lot of suitors, I guess you could say, lined up in front of you, kind of waiting their turn, waiting to have your attention in some way, waiting for something, right? Or maybe this is just different things. It doesn't have to be different people or different friends, right? Maybe it's just like different things. Maybe it's relating to career or whatever it is. And then it may be another person or a hobby or whatever it is, right? And with the Two of Swords reversed, this is kind of saying how you might feel that you are stuck between a rock and a hard place, not really knowing what to do, not knowing what to say, not knowing what to commit to, that sort of thing. And the thing about the Two of Swords reverse is like, you know, we can't, it's not necessarily fair all of the time to just deny the reality of a situation, to ignore things and kind of sweep them under the rug and hope that everything is going to be okay, because then it leads to an accumulation of things, if that kind of makes sense, right? And we see that accumulation with the 10 of Wands. Maybe some of you find yourselves juggling a bunch of things at one time, find yourself juggling a lot of like different friendships, or perhaps even like different romantic dynamics, right? But not completely committing yourself to them, but it becomes overwhelming trying to appease everyone else, right? So that could be something that happens with this 10 of Wands, is that you might, oh, butterfly. There's a butterfly that passed in front of my window. It was so cute. But it could be that you might be overwhelming yourself or biting off more than you can chew, trying to basically enjoy all of these options, all of these choices that you have, and being in denial that it might be overwhelming you, or that it might be somehow too much for you, or being in denial that you might be hurting yourself or hurting others, or whatever the case is, right? Whatever the case might be, it just seems as though there's a sense of feeling overwhelmed, and not wanting to accept some sort of truth behind it, not wanting to accept that things aren't really working out the way you may have planned, or the way you may have wanted. And we have the Empress reverse, right? Which the immediate feeling that I get with this card is feeling burnt out, feeling very burned out. There's a block in creativity, there's a block in emotions, there's a block in sensuality, in excitement, in like feeling connected with your body, if that kind of makes sense. It just feels, there's just a disconnect with, it seems as though there might be just a disconnect between you and your body, like you and your physical body, if that kind of makes sense for some of you. There's just it just seems that the more you try to kind of ignore whatever issue is at hand, oh my God, it seems that it seems as though that the longer you kind of try to ignore or to deny things, the more you run yourself dry, the more you... It could also be, for some of you with this Empress reverse, there might be issues with codependency, whether it's you or another person, right? You being codependent on other people, you potentially being a people pleaser, trying to make everyone else happy whilst ignoring your own needs, your own desires, your own wants. And that is what potentially leads to the burnout. I don't know why, but I just got a memory. Of like this restaurant that I went to a few years back, and the bread was really good. I don't know why I got that memory. Anyways, but yes, that's kind of what it reminds me of. It seems that you kind of need to work on nourishing yourself again, Sagittarius, because like I said, you might be burning yourself out in some way, trying to get all these choices, or trying to figure out what you want, or whatever the case is. I really want to figure out what the 7 of Cups and this 2 of Swords is, because I can't quite, it's interesting. But with that being, it seems as though the longer that you kind of the longer that you hold yourself back from making some sort of choice or making a decision or doing something, it seems as though the more it weighs on your shoulders, the more it weighs you down, the longer you delay whatever choice that you have to make. And you know, with the Ten of Cups, it's almost like, you know, sometimes things just aren't going to be super easy. Not everything is going to be instantly gratifying. You know, sometimes we require to put in a little work or to have a little bit more discipline in something, if that kind of makes sense, right? So for some of us, maybe this means having more discipline in terms of making ourselves happy, or in terms of taking care of ourselves, taking care of our needs and what we require, what our physical bodies require, what our mental health, what our spiritual health, emotional health requires. And we have the Sun reverse, which to me kind of talks about pessimism and feeling really gloomy, like not really seeing the brighter side in things. So it seems as though there's just this overall energy for you, Sagittarius, of something weighing you down, right? And like being so focused on trying to continue carrying all of this weight, that you end up feeling kind of gloomy, or you just don't see the light at the end of the tunnel and feeling really frustrated. For some of you, it could be that you just kind of want the best of both worlds, or you want a bite of every cake, right? With the Page of Swords and the Seven of Cups, you know, all of these choices, all of these options that you have, and the Page of Swords reverse being really fickle and saying one thing and doing another, and kind of like trying to have like 1 foot in, 1 foot out sort of thing. So it could be like that you might be overwhelming yourself by doing that. So let's get further clarity on what the Seven of Cups and this Two of Swords is about. All right, what is this Two of Swords and Seven of Cups about? Can we get further clarity on the Seven of Cups and the Two of Swords reversed? Thank you. Bottom of the deck is the Nine of Swords reversed. Yeah, you might be overthinking about something, feeling very stressed, very anxious. Four of Pentacles reversed and the Three of Cups reversed. Okay, for some of you, this might be like you... Okay. Three of Cups reversed for some of you, could potentially be trying to have a piece of every pie, a piece of every cake, a bite of every cake. Trying to enjoy the company of other people without fully committing to them, okay? Four of Pentacles reversed. This can be... Four of Pentacles reversed can sometimes read as like being greedy. Oh, for some of you, it could be like you want to be able to have a bite of every pie, but once these other people go out and do the same thing and show that they are not committed the way that you aren't, right? Like if they basically reflect what the energy that you're giving them in terms of like being non-committal, it seems that when you see that reflection, you're like, what the hell are you doing? You're mine. What are you doing? I thought we were in this together. What do you like? It's really interesting. So that could be like what the Four of Pentacles reversed is like being sort of possessive or not wanting to share what you have, quote unquote. So that could be what leads to like confusion. And with the Two of Swords reversed, this is like not wanting to admit where you might be wrong, not wanting to take accountability, not wanting to make any sort of choice in terms of like who you want, you know, to place more of your attention and focus on, because it seems as though you do want to have the best of both worlds, but by doing that, you might end up either pushing them away or just showing them that since you're not ready to commit, they'll just find some other people to like, you know, fuck around with. And that could be a burden to you, right? 10 of Wands, that could be a burden to you, and that might be something that frustrates you. So that's really interesting. And it could, I don't know why, but the Empress reversed here, then if this is the case for some of you, then this kind of reads as like a block in intimacy, a block in intimacy because of this potential refusal to make a decision due to wanting the freedom, like wanting that instant gratification of having everything that you want, but also like not taking accountability, you know? That's kind of what it seems like. And so there's like that sort of anxiety with it all. I want to clarify this Empress. Let's clarify the Empress reversed. Two of Pentacles, okay. Two of Pentacles and the High Priestess reverse. It's all a choice. This really does seem as though some of you might be this Empress energy of like being like very sensual, like very attractive. Everyone is super attracted to you, very into you, but having it reversed, it's almost like your charm can only work for so long. And Two of Pentacles could be that with this choice, like you feel, it's almost like the longer you delay this choice, the further you kind of block yourself off emotionally, sensually, intimacy, like on an intimate level, intimately, that sort of thing, which is so interesting. It blocks the birth of something new. It just like blocks the excitement of it all, if that kind of makes sense. Because we have the Two of Pentacles, which is a decision that needs to be made. And it could be that, you know, for a while, you know, you were able to juggle between all of these different people or all these dynamics or situations, but in doing so, you might have overwhelmed yourself, or you are beginning to overwhelm yourself, or now these people might be asking more from you, and maybe that's something that you don't want to do. So, you know, they might end up finding other people who want to commit to them, and then you're like, wait, but where are you going? What are you doing? Well, of course, if you're not gonna give them what they want, then they're gonna find someone else to do it for them. Is that not only fair? So that's kind of what it seems like for you. We have a lot of twos and threes. Two of Pentacles, Two of Swords, and then at the bottom of the deck, Two of Cups. It's a lot going on, darling. And then we have the Three of Cups reversed. So that's what I have for you, Sag. It seems as though you might need to make some sort of decision or be very clear as to what your intentions are, and realize that you can't just have everything and keep it all to yourself, okay? Right? If you are saying that you are not willing to commit or unable to commit, right? If that is the case, then it's not fair to be mad at these people who are in search of someone who is willing to give what you do not want to, or refuse to, or you are simply unable to. Does that kind of make sense? It's not fair to be rigid in that way. It's not fair to hold them to that standard when you don't even hold yourself to that standard. So, and you don't want them to hold you to that standard. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's something, it seems that this is something that you might need to reflect on this month and see, you know, what's going on here. So yes, Sag, I hope that this resonates for you. I hope it was helpful for you in some way. Let me know in the comments down below. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.